Hello there, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the southeast. As the legal battle over flying migrants to Rwanda intensifies, hundreds more people arrive on the Kent coast in small boats.
One of the hottest days of the year so far. We're in Margate as people enjoy the sunshine, but with the heat comes a health and water warning.
Despite the really warm air temperatures that we're expecting the next couple of weeks, the water temperature is still extremely cold.
Also tonight, the changing face of farming, the third of our special reports.
I'll be looking at the prospects of young farmers who are keen to shape the future of the British landscape.
And a surprise for 80-year-old Polly from Maidstone, who's worked at the same school for 50 years. Good evening. The Home Secretary says the government will not be deterred and will press ahead with its plans to send cross-channel migrants to Rwanda. Priti Patel was speaking after a last-minute legal intervention prevented a flight taking off from Gatwick last night.
It was supposed to mark the beginning of a controversial 5-year strategy to deter people from making the perilous journey. Yesterday alone, though, 444 migrants in small boats were picked up and taken to Dover. Joe Caution is there for us this evening. And Joe, even more crossings there today.
Yes, there have been, Sangeeta. Either those making the journey don't know about the Rwanda policy, or it hasn't posed as much of a deterrent as the government would have hoped. I've seen around 200 more migrants arriving here and being brought to shore by teams here in Dover. Most of them were young men in their 20s and 30s, but many of them women and very small children too. Human rights lawyers have told me today that that legal intervention will be the first of many court battles the government faces if it wants to push on with its Rwanda policy. But the Home Secretary told the Commons they won't be deterred.
We will not be put off by the inevitable legal last-minute challenges, nor we will allow mobs, Madam Deputy Speaker, to block removals. We will not stand idly by and let organised crime gangs, who are despicable in their nature and their conduct, evil people, treat human beings as cargo. We will not accept that we have no right to control our borders, Madam Deputy Speaker. We will do everything necessary to keep this country safe.
Smuggling gangs treating people like cargo, according to Priti Patel. I've been speaking to refugee action groups who use the same description, except they weren't talking about the smuggling gangs.
Refugees are already fleeing something terrible and they have their own personal reasons for wanting to be in the UK. That wonon't stop them from coming, it will just further traumatise them. It's like treating people like human cargo, like it doesn't matter, you know, saying that they can be flown out to Rwanda, but if the decision, it turns out that it is illegal, that they can just be flown back again. And it's not really accounting for the distress, the immense distress that this causes people.
Well, with the calm conditions set to continue here in Dover, it's likely we'll see more overcrowded boats arriving over the coming days. And I say overcrowded, just take a look at the state of one of the dinghies, what's left of it anyway, rather deflated, which could have had up to even more than 40 people on it. And the condition of it just gives you a sense of how hard people are working here around the clock to make sure and to prevent any similar tragedies of people losing their lives crossing the channel.
Joe Caution, live in Dover, thank you.
Well, let's cross to Westminster now and talk to our political correspondent Phil Hornby for more analysis on the situation. Phil, anger from MPs of all parties today.
Yes, Matt, the MP for Dover was angry that last night's flight didn't take off.
Overnight, many of my constituents have got in touch with me. They are anguished at developments that have occurred to stop effective action to tackle the crossings. Can I urge my right honourable friend to continue to do everything possible to bring an end to these dangerous journeys?
But we're angry too, angry with the Home Secretary and the whole Rwanda policy.
Our country is better than this. We've a long tradition of hard work and stepping up to tackle problems, not to offload them, to tackle the criminal gangs who put lives at risk and to do right by refugees. That is what she should be doing now and not this shambles that is putting our country to shame.
Yeah! MPs across the Commons were angry on both sides of the argument.
Today I have heard the same old story from Labour, no solutions, not standing up for Britain and definitely not thinking about what my constituents want.
The moral response would be to provide safe and legal routes for those people who are exercising their legal right to seek asylum.
The only people not angry tonight, presumably, are the lawyers who must be making a fortune out of all this. The government say there will be more flights. And as we've already heard, that means there will be more court battles.
OK, Phil, for the time being, thank you.
In other news, a man who raped a woman in a Medway street while she lay unconscious has been sentenced to life in prison. 44-year-old Aurel Berland from Chatham was arrested at the scene of the attack in December. He will serve a minimum of 8 years.
Drone footage has captured a huge crack forming in the Beachy Head cliffs. The South Downs National Park Authority has warned people to stay well clear of the precarious section of cliff. Meanwhile, a new study shows that nearby Eastbourne, as well as Swale and Dover, are among the top 20 places most at risk from sea level rise and erosion.
We can't protect everyone, and that's both for economic and technical reasons. There will be places where we need to think about how we might realign the shorelines and move the shoreline back to allow space as the sea level rise. But that takes a long time. So we're not saying things change tomorrow on the ground, but we need to start planning for that long-term future now.
The hot spell continued today. In fact, our region was as hot as Santorini in Greece, and temperatures are expected to soar to 34 degrees Celsius by Friday. That's well into the 90s.
But with the warm weather comes a health warning, with the NHS putting a level 2 alert in place. It means the risk of heat stress and heat stroke, particularly among the elderly and vulnerable.
In a moment, we'll be talking to our weather presenter, Philippa Drew, but first to Kit Bradshaw, who's been in Margate today. Kit, people really have been making the most of the sunshine today, haven't they?
Yes, Sangeeta, considering it's midweek, it has been very busy here and very warm. At one point, my car thermometer told me it was 25 degrees, and I spoke to one couple who travelled more than 100 miles from North Hertfordshire to be on this sandy beach. But there is a serious safety warning coming from local councils and other agencies about the precautions we all need to take as the mercury goes up. Sun, sea, and a jet ski. The lifeguard team here in Margate have got the tools to keep swimmers safe. But as temperatures rise, so too do the risks.
Despite the really warm air temperatures that we're expecting the next couple of weeks, the water temperature is still extremely cold. What we'd encourage people to do is acclimatise slowly, ideally wear a wetsuit, and if you do find yourself experiencing cold water shock, which can cause you to lose control of your breathing, start hyperventilating, just rest and relax in the water. So float to live, lie on your back, extend your arms and legs and just stay calm.
Regular top-ups of sun cream are essential for those working under the rays, and the day trippers are doing their bit too.
We picked today because it's not as hot as it's going to be on Friday. I wouldn't come to the beach on Friday at 35 degrees for 2 kids.
Yeah, we always put loads of cream on. We're very
always have
but we're a bit of a sun worshippers anyway, so for us it's a perfect time.
My husband, who's just gone to park the car, has brought these fantastic chairs and our brollies from home so that we can keep safe in the sun and go and enjoy the sunshine and the sea as and when we want.
The heat health alert for the southeast has led to a raft of safety recommendations for the coming days. Among the advice is to stay out of the sun between 11 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, and despite the peak of this current hot spell not expected until later in the week, the experts say take such precautions now.
Sadly, most heat-related deaths occur in the first 2 days of hot weather. It's in the beginning when people aren't prepared for it and they haven't yet got used to that hot weather that the risk is the highest.
From Broadstairs to Brighton, the warnings extend across the region, with the staff at Drusilla's Zoo in Alfriston stepping in to ensure all the residents are kept cool.
These are the sort of our ice lollies that we give our animals. So in this one we've got a bit of beetroot, and that's what's making it pink in colour. We've got some sweet potato, some peas and some sweet corn. So this is taken out of their sort of daily diet quota, and it's just sort of a new different way of presenting their food, but also in this hot weather it really helps with helping them cool down.
At this appropriately named food court, some of the traders have already made modifications to cater for the changing climate.
You'll see a lot more people searching for shade, hence why we built this new shelter, which was A, for the rain, and B, for shade, because previously we didn't have as much shade. And there is a section where people don't want to eat, which is understandable.
However we choose to spend the next few days, health chiefs will be hoping we all do so with a generous dollop of personal responsibility. As well as keeping yourself and your family safe then when you're out and about, we're also being asked to keep an eye on our neighbours, especially the elderly and those with underlying health conditions. But public health bosses tell me this is not about spoiling anyone's fun, but making sure we're all as safe as we can be in the heat.
Good advice, Kit, thank you.
Now, Pip is here to talk a little bit more about this. Obviously, it's hot. We've established that. I mean, is it unusually hot, though? I mean, it's June after all.
Yeah, I mean, it is actually going to be pretty exceptional. So temperatures have been slowly climbing this week. We've had 24.1 Celsius at Hurst-Monceau today, but they're really going to jump up on Friday, and that hot weather possibly continuing into Saturday. We'll be seeing highs of around 33, 34 Celsius quite easily, I think. Let's take a look at the current June record. Now, that stands at 35.6 Celsius. That was set way back in the long hot summer of 1976. There is a chance that somewhere in southern England could reach or exceed that through Friday or Saturday. Now, to put that into context, you can see that only 5 Junes have actually had days where we've reached or exceeded 34 Celsius, but most alarmingly 2 of those have been in the previous 5 summers we've had, so 2017, 2019, and we could see another one this June as well. So it is pretty exceptional and not something we want to be seeing too often.
So how long will this hot spell continue? Is it just up until the weekend?
Yeah, that's right. If you're like me and you're not a big fan of the very hot weather, then I've good news. It's going to be a fairly short-lived spell. Friday and Saturday, the peak of the temperatures, and then it looks as though on Sunday we'll have a cold front marching its way southwards across the UK, bringing a few showers, perhaps some thundery downpours, but also bringing those temperatures back down to something a bit more manageable. So enjoy the sun, the hot weather if you like it, but do take very good care. It's the longest day next Tuesday, and the sun is seriously strong out there.
Already?
Yes, thank you very much for now. Of course, you're back later for the full forecast. Now, you are watching ITV News in the Meridian region, of course. Coming up on the programme, it's the Celebrity Pact Awards ceremony that recognises unsung heroes. We launch our search for the Daily Mirror Pride of Britain Fundraiser of the Year.
And the school in Maidstone that's put on a special celebration for their lunchtime supervisor, dinner lady in my day, who's been working there since 1972.
And you can find out more on all of our stories today, of course, on the website itv.com/Meridian. There's the phone number 0808 1010 095. And don't forget to follow us on social media.
Older people are being urged to see if they qualify for pension credit benefit. New figures suggest an estimated £1.7 billion of the benefit is being left unclaimed.
Well, the extra financial help is aimed at retired people on low incomes and can be worth more than £3,000 a year. The government has been holding a pension credit day of action to try to raise awareness of what's available. Kevin Ashford reports.
Many people are having to take steps these days to cope with rising prices. And that's especially true for the elderly, like those at this Age UK centre, who are often living on limited incomes.
Now I have to buy frozen veg to subsidise the fresh veg. I would prefer to get the fresh veg because it's more healthier.
Well, I just cope as everybody else. We have to buy food, we have to buy clothes, we have to buy everything, so of course it's expensive.
3 months ago I bought a shopping and it cost me £70. I did the same things last week and it cost me £90. And they were the same items.
For eligible pensioners on a low income, there is an additional benefit available called pension credit. In the South East last year, it was claimed by more than 150,000 people. They're among 1.4 million claimants nationally. However, it's estimated £1.7 billion in pension credit across the country is not being claimed. Staff at Age UK in Brighton say older people should be encouraged to find out what they can claim, as many in the area are facing a tough situation.
Some people are doing fine, but for many this is a very scary and anxious time. We're really concerned that pension costs are not meeting what's happening for people with the cost of living surrounding them right now. And people are getting very scared. They're making true and real choices about whether to heat their home or whether to eat, and we're very concerned about that.
And that will feed directly into the price cap. This is the green.
The money-saving expert Martin Lewis says more should be done to encourage take-up of pension credit.
I think we need to do a lot more about spreading the word. If you know someone aged over 66 who's got less than 200 quid a week worth of income, tell them to call the pension credit claim line to see if they're eligible. We can all get out there, spread this word and help some of the most vulnerable in society get some proper income in their pocket.
Successfully claiming pension credit can lead to more support, according to the government minister responsible.
From housing benefit to extra NHS to financial support to extra support in the form of TV licence if you're over 75 and on pension credit, which will be free. There's so much different support out there, and what we're so trying to ensure happens is that people go to their Citizens Advice Bureau or contact government, and we can actually ensure that they make this application and we hope get this money.
Pensioners and their families are being urged to check whether they qualify for the credit, which can be worth more than £3,000 a year. Kevin Ashford, ITV News.
It's 17 minutes past 6 and the ITV Evening News continues here at 6:30 with more information. Mary Nightingale.
Coming up in the programme, more rail misery, why only 20% of services could be running for most of next week. The strike action is threatening to cut off parts of the country. We will have all the latest. Tough talk from the Home Secretary after the first asylum flight to Rwanda fails to take off. And as temperatures start to surge, more on the health warnings about the hot weather ahead. Do join me for those stories and much more at 6:30.
Now, you've heard about how difficult it can be to get your foot on the housing ladder, but getting a foot into farming can be an even harder climb.
Yes, new research shows that 70% of young farmers think it would be difficult or impossible to get into the industry.
In the final part of our series looking at the future of farming, Catherine Walker has been looking at the challenges faced by new starters.
Brexit, climate change and soaring inflation. Farmers are facing sweeping changes to their industry. And this uncertainty makes it difficult for young farmers at the start of their careers, like Ruth from Sevenoaks in Kent.
Biggest barriers, I would say, is opportunities on farm. I think farmers need to give young people more opportunities to get onto farm, get the experience that they need to get. I think there's not so many actual children of farmers coming into farming anymore. I think we need to give opportunities to people that aren't from farming backgrounds.
Even for those like 25-year-old Mark, who already have family in the business, it can be a struggle to find the right path.
I mean, at the moment, the average age of farmers are around sort of 59, 60 mark. So get educated and you come out and sort of quite quickly you sort of do recognise that there's not enough work going for both, like, you know, both your father and yourself. So it's hard.
Getting into the farming industry has never been easy. The availability of land coupled with the sheer cost of starting a business like this is a huge logistical challenge. And new research shows that young farmers are increasingly concerned about their prospects. A recent survey found that more than 70% of farmers thought it would be difficult or impossible to join the industry. Only a third thought there were relevant training and development opportunities for prospective farmers. For parents like Meryl, whose adult children work in agriculture, it's a huge concern.
Our fertiliser prices have tripled, our fuel prices, everybody knows that those have tripled. And for new entrants to actually raise the capital and then to live with those levels of uncertainty in terms of prices of their inputs, it's incredibly difficult.
This anxiety has led to calls for the government to help and set out plans for young farmers in their post-Brexit policies.
there's some upcoming new entrant scheme that the government are bringing out, which I look forward to seeing the details of. There still needs to be some financial help, because although you could be the best business person in the world, but it'd still be difficult for a bank to lend you money without any track record particularly.
Later this year we will be publishing further plans to make it easier for them to get access to land, and that means supporting farmers to retire with dignity when retirement's the right choice for them, and that means you can get access to land for a new generation, and then you need to support that new generation both with business mentoring but also with financial support as well.
The pressing risk of climate change means the next generation of farmers need to adapt like never before. They say they want clarity so they can sow the seeds for a prosperous future. Catherine Walker, ITV News.
Next tonight, we're launching this year's search for a fantastic fundraiser to represent our region at the Daily Mirror Pride of Britain Awards, and you guessed it, we need your help.
Yes, it's perhaps an individual who's dedicated years to raising money for good causes. Whatever their story, we would love to hear all about them.
The Pride of Britain Awards are back. It's the celebrity-packed bash with some of the biggest names in Britain. But where the stars of the show are not famous at all, they are everyday heroes.
The Daily Mirror Pride of Britain Awards celebrate ordinary folk who do extraordinary things. And once again, we want to recognise your unsung heroes.
Real stories, real superheroes.
Real people celebrated.
This is where you come in, because we're looking to celebrate ITV regional fundraisers and name one of them the National Fundraiser of the Year for 2022.
We have so many people, crazy people in this country, who fundraise all year round, and it's such a vital part of who we are in Britain. And it's always selfless, it's not about them, it's about what they bring to other charities or to organisations. And those are the people we want to be nominated.
If you know someone who fits the bill, we want to hear from you.
It could be someone like Jeremy Daubney from Tunbridge Wells, who was ITV Regional Fundraiser of the Year last year.
Jeremy raised money for the Motor Neurone Disease Association and the Brain Tumour Charity.
If you'd like to nominate someone, you can head to our website. That's itv.com/Pride of Britain.
You can only nominate individuals, and they must be aged 18 years old or over.
The closing date is Friday the 12th of August, and full terms and conditions can be found on our website.
Yep. Now, question for you. Go on, sorry. No, go on.
Get nominated.
Yeah.
That was it.
I didn't mean to talk over you, but we're going to talk about this. Do you remember the staff who every day dished up your school dinners back in the day?
I don't remember their names, but I was friendly with all of them because I'd get extra chips.
Funnily enough, when I was in primary school, my nan was my dinner lady. So she would give me all the food I liked and none of the stuff I didn't.
See? Yeah.
Recommend it.
That's a good idea.
Well, we digress. But Polly Wilson has been working at the same school in Maidstone for 50 years, first as a lollipop lady and then helping pupils out at lunchtimes.
Well, today was a special milestone as she turned 80 and staff and children at Leeds and Broomfield Church of England School surprised her with an afternoon tea to thank her for the last 5 decades. We sent Charlotte Wilkins along to meet her.
Children. Oh, my baby.
A surprise celebration for a true school stalwart. Not only is today Polly Wilson's 80th birthday, but she's worked here at Leeds and Broomfield Church of England School for a whopping 50 years.
Oh, thank you very much, my baby. Every one of you.
I mean, 50 years is a long time, isn't it, to work in one set place. She's such a pivotal part of the community as well. We're a very small little village, Leeds, and she is known by everybody. She always gives that smile and that wave to all the community, and she's just an important and valued person.
I just wanted us all to celebrate just how wonderful she is. You know, she's a little powerhouse. She's unbelievable.
Polly's taken on numerous roles, from lollipop lady to reading assistant.
Come on a bit.
And most recently, Well, for the last 25 years at least, she's been a dinner lady.
Some people might say that at your age you should be putting your feet up by now.
Oh, I couldn't be doing that. I'm so used to getting up, doing so much work at home because I know I've got to come to school. But it's been a wonderful life here. Mrs. Deer's been absolutely wonderful.
You love it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But surely after 50 years, she deserves a bit of a rest.
And I'm not going to stop at all. No, I will carry on till Miss Hinklin says, or Mrs. Deer, we can't take you anymore, and that's the end of the story. But hope I shall carry on for a long, long time.
And that's exactly what these kids wanted to hear. Charlotte Wilkins, ITV News, Leeds.
Many congratulations to Polly from us.
Yeah, I love the bit in the middle where even when she was being interviewed, she had to serve that child some pudding.
Yeah.
It's like, this child needs pudding, and he will get it.
And that's what the best ones do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've got so many memories now of my favourite school dinners. I used to like a bit of quiche.
You can't remember their names, but you can remember the food.
Can't you tell? I like my food, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't.
Let's get the weather now. Here's Philippa.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Lots of hot weather on the way over the next few days. Then not only those rising temperatures, but some really strong sunshine as well. However, as we head through the weekend, signs of a change with showers coming our way later Saturday, more especially on Sunday. And that will also see the arrival of something a little more manageable temperature-wise. So the hot air is currently over the near continent, indicated by these bright pink colours. That pushes northwards through the next few days, forcing those temperatures up into the low to mid-30s before gradually pulling away eastwards through the course of the weekend. Out there at the moment then, all looking pretty quiet, so staying dry overnight tonight. Largely clear skies overhead, a fairly mild night on the cards, temperatures in towns and cities staying in double figures, and just a few rural spots dipping down to 8 or 9 Celsius by dawn. And then tomorrow, well, much the same as today, really. So dry, sunny from the word go. Temperatures soon on the rise. A bit more high cloud drifting our way come the afternoon. And that will make the sunshine hazy from time to time. But it's not going to stop those temperatures rising. Continuing on that upward trajectory. And tomorrow peaking at around 27, perhaps locally 28 Celsius. High tides for tomorrow then for Chatham there, 2:30 in the morning, 2:55 in the afternoon. And then beyond that, through the latter stages of tomorrow, overnight into Friday, high pressure starts to drift away southeastwards. And we'll see the arrival of a cold front up towards the very far northwest of the UK. Now, it's this cold front that will sink its way southwards through the course of the weekend, introducing showers and something a little more manageable as well. But until then, it remains hot and sunny. As I said, those temperatures continuing to climb, peaking on Friday. That sunshine really strong too at this time of year. SPF at the ready, UV levels will be very high.
Valent sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Well, very high temperatures on the way, very high UV levels, and no surprise, if you're a hay fever sufferer, pollen levels will also be very high through the next few days. A mix of grass and wheat pollen. Do take care.
Well, I'm going for an ice cream now, but I will be back with your late news just before 10:30. In just a moment, the ITV Evening News here with Mary Nightingale.
I can't believe you had quiche for your school dinners. That's really posh, but we're going to gloss over it. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.